Welcome to the Power Hour conversation. It's been a minute, I feel like, since we've done at least the relationship conversations. We've only done one of these. We did this towards the end of last year, and I know you guys enjoyed the first one. I think it was really successful. We had a lot of people come in.
It was a while ago.
This, if you guys don't know, if you're new to the channel still, if you're kind of new, man, listen, like, gaming is great. I love gaming with you guys. If I played any games with you, thank you. I enjoy playing games with you. Warzone, Dragon Ball Fighters, Pokemon, all these different games I've played. Gears. Man, however I've met you, all those things are great. And I love connecting with you guys through gaming. But the heartbeat of my, like, everything, man, of why I even stream is in this moment. Like, all of this, right? Like, the Power Hour is what I feel like separates my channel from anything else, is because I want to have topical conversations about real life things that I believe that all of us as human beings kind of go through at some point in our journey on this earth, man. Like, we go through different things in our relationships, of friendships to boyfriends or girlfriends. Like, you know, I'm not expecting just the fellas to be in here, so there may be ladies in here. That's why I think it's important to have Summer with me on some of these things, because she can cover a type of conversation that maybe, and touch on a certain part of the conversation that maybe I can't, you know what I'm saying? And so I feel like that's what's good and healthy about the Power Hour conversations, is we try to take topics that are sometimes either hot or controversial, or just things that maybe I just want to talk about and express, or maybe something that you guys like, hey Justin, what do you think about this? What are your thoughts on, you know, abortion? What are your thoughts on this? Like, we've talked about depression. We've talked about all those types of topics here. And it's been awesome, because at the end of the day, gaming is great, but this is the stuff that matters. At the end of the day, when you turn the gaming off, you have to sit back with you and your thoughts and your family and your people and your circle of influence. And I think it's important to have the conversations. They messing around in their food. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it's about, man. Tonight's conversation, courtesy of Juan. Shout out to Juan for bringing this to our attention, or to my attention. And then Summer and I stayed up kind of late last night talking.
Kind of late?
Sort of late.
2 o'clock in the morning.
We weren't talking about the topic the whole time. You know what I'm saying? But I think
from 10:30 on.
Nah,
yeah,
it was nah. Anyways, we
already doing what we're gonna talk about.
Oh my goodness. The conversation tonight is kind of going to be circled around compromise, right? So Juan was the one who presented it. I was asking you guys, I was like, hey, what do y'all want to talk about? What do y'all want to hear us talk about and cover in relationships? And for those of y'all who don't know, Summer and I, we've been married 10 years this year. It'll be 10 years this year, this July. Crazy. 10 years, man. Are you ain't tired of me yet? So what?
I said I got my days.
Dang. Oh, wow. My daughter just came over here and said, don't break up. Whoever goes away. We're not going. Nobody's breaking up. We're here forever. You're stuck with us. All right, that food in your mouth looked kind of gross. Wait, so what day is your guys' anniversary? July 24th, my guy. I don't know the exact day of, like, the week for this year, but it's July 24th. You ain't gonna catch me slipping. Now I'm only trying to be thinking I'm gonna get in trouble. It's the July. All right, so conversations on compromise. When we talk about compromise, we need to first know the definition. We need to understand, what does compromise actually mean?
It's pretty much when two separate parties come to a mutual agreement over an issue.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure we had the exact definition, right? Because I think sometimes we know what it means per se, but, like, just so we all are clear and we're all on the same page, is where two separate parties come together and try to find common ground on an issue, right? Not just an issue, but just an issue doesn't ever even have to be an argument, would you say?
No. It could be a discussion, or
yeah.
I don't know.
Or a thing.
Yeah.
Right? Juan, since this was your initial, you wanted to kind of hear us talk about this, I'm going to give you the first presented question of what do you want to know? Because we can go in on compromise just as a topic and start talking about it as we kind of went through last night together. But what is your specific question? I want to know, maybe from you, if your wife is watching, or you guys, if you have your spouse or girlfriend or fiance with you, or even if you're by yourself, like maybe you've been in a relationship and you dealt with an issue of compromise in the past of like, man, I was with this girl or I was with this person and we just couldn't figure out how to work this thing. Like, how do we compromise this? Like, we couldn't see eye to eye on something or whatever it was. Maybe present your story or your examples and maybe ask us a question about, you know, something in that so we can kind of better engage you guys. Because we can tell all we want about something, and that might be kind of boring. I want to make this as interactive as possible when we do these Power Hour conversations. You know what I'm saying? Where do you decide to draw the line in terms of compromise? For example, how do you decide what are some things you would budge on, and where do you draw the line? That's a great question, because this is the actual very thing that Summer and I actually touched on last night. We actually touched on this exact question in this exact situation. So this is, I feel prepared in a sense. Yeah, it's good. I feel like I've done a lot of talking already. I kind of want,
Well,
maybe
this is your stream.
it is my stream, but it is my stream per se, but at the same time, like, I want my stream to be engagement with everyone, and they don't get to see you a lot. And you have a voice, and it's one that I think a lot of the majority of people in my stream are males. And I think they will benefit hearing from a woman's perspective more than they would just mine up front. Because they look to you better than they look to me, because you're wifey and you can't do anything wrong compared to me. They bust me up and give me the harshness. You guys treat me very harshly sometimes, which is fine. I'm cool with it. I can handle it. But y'all look at her like, oh, don't do her like that. That's wifey. Leave Miss Power Up alone. Leave. So I'm gonna fade to black, and I'm gonna let her take the stand for a minute.
So for me, I think that more so over any other time. I think the one thing that some of the few things that I would not budge on would just be mainly like faith-based things. Like I have my beliefs and where I stand with my relationship with God, and those, if there is something that like he is wanting me to do or somebody else is wanting me to do that's going to cause me to shift my faith in order to do it, that's definitely a border that I will not cross. I mean, aside from something that is not like a faith-based thing, I mean, obviously when we talk faith-based, like that puts a lot into like what my actions will be and what I will do and won't do. So, I mean, it does determine a lot when it comes to compromising, I feel like.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's definitely probably one of the biggest things for me is when it comes to compromising my faith is when I would draw a line. And I know for you, that's something that you said last night too, that you would draw a line on.
Yeah. I mean, how do you feel about like, so yeah, I mean, obviously your faith things, like what are other things that you feel like for you?
Right.
Right. Don't go off of what, exactly what.
So it would be more like, anything that is going to cause my actions or my decisions to be like harmful or disrespectful to somebody. I feel like that's kind of opinion based.
Yeah.
Too, though.
Billy, let me real quick. I see him. He said, "Can I come back later because I feel like I'm too young for this hour?" No, I think you were. How old are you, Billy? First of all, how old are you? And if you are under the age of like 14 and you feel like you're a little bit too young, you're 13. Dude, listen, I think if you're not having these conversations and understand, like, this is important, bro. I think many of us, as particularly men and young dudes, we don't have these conversations and we don't have anyone to have these conversations with. And I didn't have these type of conversations with my dad when I was younger. And I wish I would have, because they would have helped me in my relationships. This is something that is needed for all of us, because it's something that we all can learn from and grow from. And when you're young, you think some of this stuff doesn't matter, but bro, it does. And if you are inspired, if you are looking to or desiring to be in a relationship, like, these are topics you're gonna have to face. Yeah, you may not be thinking of marriage yet because you're 13, but if you start working on little by little and taking stuff to that level by the time you're 21, bro, like, I mean, we got married. I'm 33, right? I know I don't look it, you know what I mean?
You look 18.
I definitely
right
look
now.
young. But here's the thing, like, I can tell you that the reason why I was able to get married younger, and a lot of people were like, yo, how that you got married mad young, bro? Like, but it's because my mental and spiritual maturity was above reproach. Like, there was so many people that I feel like at 21, 22, 23 years old, they're not trying to put themselves in that. They're not trying to think like that yet. They think they can wait until later, and then they're gonna, okay, now I'll settle down at 30. You know what I mean? So yes, if you're younger, stay in here, man, because I think it's beneficial. I mean, would you agree?
Agreed.
But I kind of cut you off, but
No, it's
you
fine.
were saying,
I actually just read his thing right there, and
oh, okay. You don't even talk to your parents. Well, that's why we're here. Maybe we're your parents away from your parents, right? Like, that's what this is for. It's a beautiful. That's why this is a family, bro. Like, Power Up family. We have these sit down conversations. We get to have this time where we just open up and be real and just be people and be humans and not just be gamers and be nerds and be geeks, because we're those things, but yet we're humans, man. We have real feelings, we have real emotions, and we got a real life journey that you guys are going through as well, and I care about them.
you need to have somebody to be able to talk to.
Yeah, man, you need it. Juan said faith is a good method for some, but I've had a lot of issues with faith. Removing faith from the question, how do you and Justin deal with situations where you don't see eye to eye? For example, my wife and I have completely different parenting methods. I try to compromise, but I feel some things are crossing the line for me. It goes against who I am inherently. Okay, dope. If you address this and prepare now, you won't be dealing with things like this when you're my age. And I wish I had these conversations with my mother, who knew all about this. Unfortunately, she's no longer with us, so I have to make the best effort. Man, dang, I hate that for you, Juan, and that's real. That's super real, bro. Well, and we've talked about faith and stuff on here. We'll talk about that's another subject, but those are things that are non-negotiable. Like, so here's what I said to Summer last night when we were talking. Papa Power Up. Here's the deal for us, like, in my way of thinking on this, right, and how we've had discussions on this is, I think everybody there should be negotiables and there should be non-negotiables, meaning, like, there are just certain things, like, bro, for me, like, me and Summer were talking last night, like, and she knows, like, there's just certain things I'm just not gonna budge on, right, and they're concrete for me. And they're concrete for reasons that apply to, again, my faith and how I see the world and my worldview and my perspective of how I've had a biblical worldview for so long not so long. I didn't grow up with it, but, you know, our faith is a big deal, and we don't just live it as a Sunday thing. It's definitely like, this is what we do. But, you know, and I didn't grow up with spiritual guided parents. I didn't have any of that in my house at all, but now I'm a parent who's trying to live by that standard and keep that. You know, she's trying to get to the kids real quick, something's going on. To answer your question, removing faith, how do you and Justin deal with situations where you don't see eye to eye? For example, my wife and I have completely different parenting methods. I try to compromise. Can you break that down a little more? Like, what do you compromise on? Like, what's the compromise on? I mean, and for me, I think it's different stuff. I mean, we both have had, when we knew we were when we were like expecting our first one, Michaela, right? Our oldest, you know, 8.5 years ago. For us, it was like, we had the parenting conversations, like, you know, how did you grow up? How did I grow up? And how were we disciplined? How were we, and how do we take that, and what do we agree with out of how we were brought up and raised and disciplined? And what of that do we look at and we're like, this doesn't line up with what we believe in, right? Like, you know, and for us, our parenting style is, you know, I don't know, man. Like, I think you just have to have that conversation of vulnerability and honestness about how deep you want to take it, but just talk about, like, because the real issues, honestly, man, like, here's the thing. The real issues of how all this stuff in relationship works is all based on how we were brought up. Because you're bringing two people, like me and Summer are very different people. Like, we have a lot of similarities, but we have a lot of differences. Because I'm very extroverted. She is very introverted. And in those ways, sometimes they clash a little bit, but then, like, we learn from each other and we grow and get better. which is really dope. How do you communicate what's concrete for you to each other? Communication is very difficult for me. I am looking for a father figure because my dad hurt me and my sister. Dang, bro. Sorry to hear that, characters. Man, we definitely praying for your heart, man. That's tough to go through, characters, for real. I'll give you an example. My wife is the love, hugs, and emotions type of parenting, which a lot of women are. I'm more of a do what you need to do. I communicate as effectively as possible. She likes to sugarcoat a lot of things. I believe there's a time and a place with both parenting skills, but it seems to cause issues. Wow, yeah, that's good, man. First and foremost, man, if anybody opens up about anything in here, man, I want you to know, first of all, Juan, thank you for sharing that. And because we know each other in real life outside of this, we've met each other. There's a lot of people I've never really met behind the screen names. So, but at the end of the day, man, like, anything that's said here, man, I don't take that stuff for granted. I don't take it lightly, and I want this to feel like a safe place where people can talk and communicate and not be side-eyed. Like, if you believe something different than me, cool. If you believe the same thing as me, cool. Like, we don't have to have the same belief systems or whatever to still have a conversation and kind of encourage one another and, be human beings to help each other. And that's what I want this to be, man. And so not be a place of toxicity, not a place of toxicness, whatever. So Juan said, where is it at? He said, how do you communicate what's concrete for you and to each other? Communication is very difficult for me. He said, I'll give you an example. My wife is the very love, hugs, and emotions type of parenting. I'm more of a do what you need to do. I communicate as effectively as possible. She likes to sugarcoat a lot of things. I believe there's a time and a place with both parenting skills, but it seems to cause issues. I mean, what is your initial thought before I kind of dive in, or do you want me to dive in so you can think and process off of?
I feel like initially I would consider a conversation between the two of you to kind of sit down and talk about those certain scenarios of when you feel like it is necessary to parent your way versus when it is necessary to parent her way. That way you both are in tune when those situations arise, you know how to handle them together. Right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what kind of first comes to mind. As far as like figuring out how to get it across, and especially for somebody who's got a difficult time like communicating, I mean, I was definitely that person.
And see, like, she's more like you, Juan.
Yeah.
I think she grew up and she has a more, it goes back to what I was saying earlier, it's how you grow up, right? I think the biggest part is not just talking about, hey, what are your non-negotiables, right? Get to know the depths of and listening, I think, tentatively to understand how somebody grew up, right? How were they raised? How was she disciplined when she did wrong? Why did this bother her? Whatever it was, right? Because and like what did they do when you did right? You know what I mean? Because how were you praised? How were you celebrated? How were you talked to when, fights broke out in the home? Was there any conversation after? Was there any follow-up? Was there any forgiveness in that, right? Like, is there, what I mean? Because I think there's a lot of that, of why people parent the way they parent and how we parent is based on looking at all I can go off of is how I was parented, right? Like, all I have when I have kids is to just remember how I was parented. And this is why some people are afraid to have kids, because they grew up without a dad or without a mom or without parents. And then they don't know what it even looks like to be a parent because they didn't have any for themselves. Or they did have some, they just weren't interactive at all, much at all in their own relationships with their parents. So we stem a lot of that into how we do our parenting. And
I mean, I'll say too, honestly, like for me, because I started off being the type who didn't want to really push discipline on the kids. This is especially when like our oldest was younger. But Justin has always been the type where, if the kid is misbehaving, if our child is misbehaving, like they're going to, have to deal with the repercussions of that.
We had to do that last night.
Yeah, and so
or
like
today.
He's always been the one to
I'm much more of the.
He's much more of the stern discipliner. I mean, not everybody spanks their kids. We spank our kids.
'Cause the Bible tells me so.
Anyways. So he always kind of started out being the person to do like the physical discipline. Whereas for me, it was harder for me to do it, so I never did it at first. And so it took a little bit of time for me to come around to it, but once I seen how my oldest would respond to him when he told her to do things versus how she was when she was with me by myself.
Yeah.
She was very just like disrespectful, pushes her boundaries with me, and she knew she could get further with me because I was not going to spank her. And so I think just by me watching her actions with him versus with me is what kind of changed me to be more of that strict discipliner.
More stern.
Yeah,
too.
Stern.
Oh, I mean, strict too, but a stricter parenting style. But like,
yes.
but we all. I mean, it's strict, but it's open. It's an open because it's like we parent together. That's the thing. Like, I don't believe one person should be left to do all of everything. It's we both had this is us, right? We created life together, and it takes both of us to raise like intentionally. Like, I think there should be intentionality behind how we parent, right? Like, and how we have conversations with each other. Like, this is not just like since the quarantining especially, like we've been trying to have like weekly just mind dumps, if you will, like to like let's just sit down, have a night where it's just me and you sit down and we have a water, soda, snack, whatever, and just sit down on the couch and we're just, yo, how are you feeling? Like, what's going on? Where are you at right now? How's I've been working on stream stuff. You've been over here doing stuff with the kids today. I did some stuff with the kids today. What are your thoughts on what happened with the kids earlier today when they did this? How did this, or if something, I don't know. We just talk about our day. We talk about where we're at and just open up about certain stuff. And the thing is truthfully, I know I'm a rare breed. All right. And what I mean by that is I know I'm a rare breed of dude because there's not many dudes who either believe the way that I do, right? Like I'm not talking just faith. I'm talking like how I communicate, because most dudes don't communicate. We've been brought up and taught different. We don't talk, right? Like I've already seen some people say like my parents don't even discipline. I've never had anybody, really, my parents don't really talk to me, like, or you know what I mean? And so like a lot of dudes were not taught and structured to talk about how we feel because it's looked at as weak. It's looked at as if you're a dude, you're strong. And it's like, yo, nothing bothers me, son. Like I'm a stone, I'm a brick. Like, bro, it doesn't bother me. My wife could leave me today and it would hurt, it would suck, but I'll be good. I ain't nothing. It ain't nothing. Like, that's the type of masculinity that we've pushed on ourselves. And it's been taught to us from media, tons of just Western culture in general, man. Like, that's just how we've always operated. Tough guy mentality looks like this. And that's what masculinity is. And I strongly disagree because I know the opposite. It takes more of a man to realize and know that I do have feelings and I do have needs and wants and desires. It's not just a woman who has that. God, I believe, this is me, you don't have to believe it, but I believe God has wired us to have desires and to have needs like anybody else. You're a human. You have feelings and emotions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, just because you're a dude and you act like nothing bothers you, it's not true. We all have problems, man, and things that, you know what I mean? And we need to talk about them, because if the problem is when dudes, this is what happens when we don't talk. When we don't talk, what happens is that built upness has to go somewhere, right? And what it does is it'll go into other people. We take it out on our kids. Take it out on our spouses. We take it out on our friendships. And then even worse, we take it out on ourselves. And you verbally jack yourself up. And then it goes into a really dark spot that I think a lot of dudes struggle with mental health because they are taught not to talk about nothing. And it's unhealthy to not spew like to dump some of the like, if your brain is a computer, like, bro, we need to get this junk out. We need to talk. Yeah, man. You have to.
Yeah.
I'm trying to catch up. I'm sorry, guys. We're kind of spacing a little bit. He said, my fear that if you don't teach a kid's consequence, a judge or police officer will teach them later. Michaela, where are you at? Can you come here right quick? I'm not gonna tell you this because I want you to hear it from our own kid's mouth, so we know we're not lying. Come here, baby. Hey, come here. So, can you kind of explain what happened today?
I got in trouble.
Okay, so you got in trouble. What? Hold on. You got in trouble. You got to speak up so they can hear you. Okay, but you're doing good. Okay, so you got in trouble. But what happened? Why did you get in trouble?
Because I heard a bee buzzing outside.
No, tell the whole thing.
Okay,
That's not.
So
you didn't get in trouble because you heard a bee buzzing.
Okay, so Dad told us that we should go outside and play in the trampoline. So we went outside and I had to clean the trampoline, and then we went outside and like played with our toys and
Talk
stuff.
louder.
And played with our toys and stuff, and then when we heard a bee.
Well, you got scared of the bee. You saw the bee. She was kind of scared of the bee, and then within a couple minutes you were wanting to come back inside. Why did you say at first you wanted to come back inside? Because what?
Because it was hot.
She said it was hot outside. It was only like 70 degrees. Okay?
That's
not
even 70 degrees. And within 5 minutes she's like, I'm so hot. And I was like, it doesn't make sense. And then lo and behold, the real reason why you wanted to come in after kind of her little sister, and it'll be like, well, we just want to come in because we're hearing the bees buzz. And I'm like, oh. So the real reason was why?
Because the bee was
buzzing. Not because you were hot, but because of the bee. Now, listening to the story, it sounds like, well, why should she get in trouble for that? All right. The past couple of days, we bumped into issues of lying. Little small stories she's making up to kind of finagle her way to get what she wants, the results that she wants out of a situation. She did it, and she kind of hurt her sister's feelings yesterday by telling a story, and she got in trouble for that, where I was like, you can't do that. Like, you're lying. Like, that's a lie. Telling a story is a small lie. It's a lie. And some stories you can make up are actually big lies at that point when you get older. But falling into what Juan just said, my fear is that you don't teach your kids consequences. A judge or police officer will teach them later. What happened today when you got in trouble for lying about not telling the real reason of why you wanted to come inside?
I went upstairs in the bathroom and got a spanking.
Okay, but before you got a spanking, what did we do? What did we talk about?
We talked about why I was lying, and like about if you lie to other people, like your teachers, police. Because Dad said if you lied to a teacher, the principal could come in and kick you out from the school.
Yep, principal could kick you out from school.
And if you steal stuff from some place, then police could come, and you said, I'm sorry, and but he still puts you in jail.
Yep. Even if you say, because when you got in trouble, what were you saying at first? When I first told you, all right, go upstairs, we're gonna get a spanking. What did you first do? What was the first thing you said?
The first thing I said was,
you started crying and saying what? I'm
sorry.
I'm sorry, Daddy. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. She was super sorry. And I'm like, yeah, everybody is sorry when they get in trouble, when they get got. When everybody gets got, when you get caught, of course, we're all sorry. Everybody knows that. We all get like that. But the point is exactly what Juan just said. My fear is that same thing. And how long that spanking stung for a second, didn't it? It stung. But
more than a bee.
And I told her, I was like, you were scared about a bee, and now here we are. But I told her, and I was like, look, when you get older, the principal, in school, if you start telling stories and making up lies, and then things happen and you get involved in a bigger incident because you told a story on somebody, whatever the consequence is, it doesn't matter if you say sorry or not. They're going to kick you out of school. They're going to be like, look, I'm glad you're sorry now, but what's done is done, and you got to take the consequences. And I would much rather, while they're young, and this is their learning phases, this is when they learn, this is how we develop to understand. And the thing is there's a balance for us. The balance for us is, yes, we believe in spanking. Yes, we believe in disciplining and doing those things. But as much as I do that, we talk a lot. We have conversations. We talk to each other. And then afterwards, I talk to them again. I don't just yell at them, beat them, or whatever. Like she said, before she even got a spanking, we probably sat there and talked in the bathroom for like a good 6 minutes. And I listened to her because she started just spilling out how she was sorry and blah, 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 like telling me how she was feeling. And she's like, yeah, I shouldn't have said this. And I'm like, yeah. And I listened to her. And I think as dads, especially, man, like, dude, like there's so much power in fatherhood, man. Like I've realized that being a stay-at-home dad. And I know like there's a lot of power in being a mom. And our responsibility as parents is not to do this alone, but to do this together and be a team. And then we need to be on the same page and talk about stuff. And yes, there is compromises to be made. And yes, there's things like when you have to, you know, be like catch and hold each other accountable. Like if I've told her, like you see me boiling, try to, as much as I may not want to stop, like, and I'm about to go in on somebody, like, go push me to the side and you take over so I don't do something stupid. Because there's moments where I want to go crazy and I want to beat the mess out of a kid, but I don't. And I don't spank them as much as I used to. I think, thank you, Michaela. That was great. I love you. So yeah, I 100% agree that, and I told her, I was like, if you steal something from a store, or you lie about, like the cops are, hey, did you steal that? No. Where'd you get that from? And you just make up a story? It doesn't matter if you're sorry or not. You're going to jail. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. Definitely needs to be talked about for sure. Juan said, so I try to show her fear of consequences. However, I feel like I need to compromise more to include my wife's recommendations. Coming into this as a step parent, yeah, is much more difficult because she was there raising her before I came into the picture. Yeah, that definitely
puts a damper on
that definitely
things.
is a different change.
That's a
for
different
sure.
story.
That is a lot more touchier because yeah, I can see where that would be sensitive because now it's like, how do I, you know what I mean?
Yep.
I'm trying to use compromise as a way to strengthen my marriage and improve myself. That's dope, man.
Yeah.
I never get people to talk to. Well, you do now, Billy. You do now, my friend. Welcome to the Power Up family. That's what this is about.
Justin loves to talk.
I do, man. That's why I stream. I have to have an outlet, guys. And this is my outlet. You guys are my outlet. We get shown that silence equals strength. Exactly.
That was when you were talking about,
It goes to the point that if the person you look to is panicking, then you should probably panic. Yep. Fit in, but be that wall. Show no cracks in your character. Be a man. I see way too much of this in kids and youth today. I've seen the consequences. Yep, that it leads to. Facts. Facts, Drew. And Drew works as a police officer. Like he's in like the justice system, man. He knows. On an unrelated note, real fast, the Guns N' Roses shirt is fire. Lying is a major no-no in my house. Yeah. Ask Summer.
Yeah.
My kids, like, I do not play with lying. We don't play that. We don't play that here.
Builds a nasty habit.
And it's just not a beneficial one at all.
Yeah.
That they, like, to get them into, and as they get older, to start thinking that that's even remotely cool to do, it's not. You sure she's not scared to tell the truth because it sounds stupid to tell the truth? What are spankings? Wow. Well, if you don't know what a spanking is when this hand meets your butt and it gets popped. Yeah. Maybe that, if you're being funny, I don't know. No, but that's the thing. Like I think all kids to some degree, I mean,
everybody is scared to tell the
truth. Even if your parents all your life say, you can come to us and talk. They're not, kids, people are always, everybody is scared to get in trouble, bro. Everybody.
Yep.
Even whether they've been spanked or not, they're gonna be weary because they know what they did is wrong inside of them, and they don't want to be in trouble.
But the consequences of not telling the truth versus telling the truth are usually worse.
Yes, and that's what we teach our kids, is to be like, hey, like, it's better to tell the truth and maybe get in a little bit of trouble versus tell a lie and then you get found out and then it's really over for you, and it's the absolute worst stuff. And the type of community that forms around you, your friendships that form around you are terrible. Like, that's what I told my daughter today. I was like, look, like, we, like, trust mommy, trust daddy, like, trust us. Like, us telling you about the bee and stuff, like, if you would have told us the truth, my response to you wouldn't have been come inside because you're scared of the bee. My response to you would have been, look, I understand the bee is what's scaring you, but we've told you, listen, that bee is not going to get you. It's not going to hurt you. As long as you don't swat it, we've equipped you with the tools to make the right decision. Doesn't mean that a bee may still not get you, but listen, it's only going to sting for a second, and you can come in. We'll be here for you, and if it does, but 9 times out of 10, you're not going to get stung by that bee, and you would have stayed outside. But yeah, I mean, people like her being scared to tell the truth. I'm like, look, like, don't be scared to tell us the truth because we love you, and like, we would never tell, mommy and daddy would never tell you anything to purposely hurt you. We would never purposely tell you anything that's going to put you in harm's way and do any of that. Like, we're telling you, at least for us, we're gonna do and tell you the best we can so you can at least be equipped to make the right decisions.
Yeah.
And protect yourself. You know what I'm saying? He said, I'm uncertain on how it would sound that way to tell the truth. Being honest is always the best way to be. Spinning that yarn with a lie mean you have to keep up with it and remember everything you said. Yep, facts. Just be honest.
One
facts.
lie leads to another lie.
Is that normal in the US? I don't know.
What, spanking?
I think it used to be normal. I don't think it's normal anymore. I think a lot of people are leaning towards like trying not to spank, but
a lot of people,
I don't know.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are not, or a lot of parents choose not to do it nowadays.
Yeah, a lot of people aren't.
It was very popular when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
And before.
Yeah, and I think at the end of the day too, man, like, I mean, you know, and us being Christians too, biblically speaking, there's biblical reference and reasoning for disciplining your kids with spanking, because it's like, it's better to spank them with, you know, don't spare the rod, because what will happen in the future, it's better for them to take a little smack on the butt or pop on their hands. And I mean, if you get hit on the butt from your palm on your hand from somebody spanking you, I mean, like what I did today, like I told her, like, it lasts 10 seconds. But those types of moments mixed with, obviously, I don't believe like spanking and then just leaving them and being like, da, 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 like, and just leaving it at that. I don't think that's healthy. But I think having the discipline of a spanking mixed with the conversational piece of parents talking to their kids, I think that's when you get the healthy mix.
Yeah.
Explaining the why behind the what. You know what I mean? It's like when you got older and your parents are like, look, don't smoke weed. Why, mom? Because I told you not to. What? Like, it makes me just want to do it even more. You know what I'm saying? What frustrates me and makes it worse is having to repeat the same things over and over. Well, welcome. That's just parenting. Yeah. We're going to be doing that for 18, 20, no, probably a long time.
Forever be a broken record.
I think that's going to be, like I told my wife, like, the key to parenting is being repetitive.
He gets super frustrated over it too.
I hate it.
Yeah.
It annoys the crap out of me. But I know, like, I have to keep doing it because that's how you learn. Yep. What do you think comes out of spanking and discipline? For now, what I've seen, I mean, what comes out of it? What comes out of it?
Respect. And
honoring, learning honor and respect, and how to obey authority.
Yes. Because
I think that's a problem we have around the world, is a lot of people don't respect an authoritative figure over them. Bosses, managers, you know, coaches. Not to say they're gonna beat you, but at the same time, like cops, police.
Not only that, I think it teaches you to take ownership for when you've done something wrong. But like, all of this is not just spanking like singularly, it's spanking followed up with conversation. Correct. And the conversation part of it is what kind of makes it whole.
Yeah, if you just do spanking and do the verbal lashing of like, I'm mad at you, I'm mad at you, I'm mad at you, and this is why I'm mad at you, blah, 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 spank, 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 I'm done talking to you. Okay. If that's what we do, then we've missed the mark. The mark is not being reached. But if we're doing a solid, like, legit conversation, sit down, look at your kids, talk with them, we're having the conversations, then we are going to be effective as parents. For those of us who are parents in here, I feel like this turned into a parenting conversation more than compromise. But
there's a lot of compromise that goes into parenting. So I mean,
Billy said, because in my eyes, the spanking seems weird, but
well, that's
what
is
is
it?
Had it done. Yeah.
Everything that is not in a normal to us seems weird.
Yeah, but for us, it's no phone or technology and no seeing your friends for a week. I mean, we do that. I believe that hurts more than a spank. No. I mean, when you're younger, like,
it's even more impactful when you pair it with a spank.
Well, I'm about to say we do that too, but sometimes we spank and then take away.
Yeah.
And we definitely do a lot more taking away of things first. We try to spankings are kind of like a last resort situation where it's like, all right, enough's enough. Now you have to know.
Yeah, it's more or less when there's a reoccurring problem that just doesn't seem to be getting through.
Correct. It's not the first.
It's not the first thing that we go to.
No, I'm not justifying spankings, nor am I condoning them. It's a method that's used to try and discipline children to show them consequences. Facts. All I'm gonna say is this. All right, take it how you want. This is just experience talking to you. All right, I have seen our parenting style and the way our kids behave and respond to us as parents, and how their respect level for us and what we say and how we talk to them, and what they do when they, like, I'm streaming and they just come up to me. It's like, Daddy, I love you. And they do, you know what I mean? Like, on their own. So it's not, obviously they still, even though we spank and do this stuff, they still know the love. They still understand it. So it's not blocking them from love, guys. It's not, they see it.
But it's not blocking them from love because we communicate with them.
Because there's communication. But what I'm saying is I've seen the alternative. I've seen the parents who don't do these things, and I've seen how their discipline goes and how their kids react and do certain things in public with them, and their kids don't listen at all and have no respect or honor what they say as parents. And that probably, as someone went in the back, I watched that and I'm like, what is happening? Because my mind, I was a youth pastor for several years, and all I'm saying is that stuff is what develops into a problem in teenage years. If they can't learn now at a young age how to respect us as their parents, they're not going to respect the people out in the world that are authoritative figures. They're just not. If they don't even respect you, come on, Sway. You mean to tell me you think they're going to respect anybody else? They're just not. So it starts in our homes, people. It starts here. And it starts with us, of how we talk and how we love each other and how we conversate between each other and have these communication points about being better and how we treat each other, because that means something too.
Kids are sponges, man.
Dude, they are, like, and it's so deep, man. Like, it is a responsibility that is huge, and that compromise that we need to find is important. So this is a good topic, but I think the talk that we have and the stuff that we do is, like, we argue, obviously, and we are not perfect.
What? You argue?
Sometimes. But, you know what I mean? Like, for me, I want my girls to know, like, the standard that I set. And if I had a son, it'd be no different. I want them to see the standard of a man, what that looks like. I want them to see what that looks like for them, that who they're going to marry, their future husband, their future boyfriend, whatever. Like, yo, like, man, dad and mom, like, the way they interact, like, man, I want what mom has. Like, mom has, dad is so cool and, like, good to mom. Like, he loves her, and I see it. And yeah, they argue, but I've watched them forgive each other and talk with each other, and still, you know what I mean? Like, they're not slamming and banging crap, beating each other up, cussing and yelling at each other like sailors. You know what I mean? Like, man, they respect each other and have enough. Like, yeah, we get loud sometimes. We've had those moments. They don't happen all the time, but they do.
Yeah, they're rare.
They are rare for us. But let me try to get, I'm trying to get through all this. If you look at the differences between the generations of the ones that were spanked versus the newer generations that aren't, you can see the difference in how respectful they are. Someone may disagree with this, but I see it. Facts.
I can see it clear as day.
I see the difference in respect firsthand. Yes, Drew, please. You see people coming in and out of jails and doing stuff all day. Talk that talk, bro. Drew is firsthand can tell you. So it shows respect for someone with higher power over you. Yes. Which are your parents. Your parents are
they are over you.
They are over you.
Yes.
And they
100%.
if you don't think that your kids are below you, then I mean, like, not below you in like a degrading sense, but below you in a sense of like They dictate everything I do. The power that when my kids come in as a 2-year-old, you have the better knowledge and wisdom to make choices for our family, or what we're about to do is all based on everything this kid wants. You are 3.
The kid.
You are 4. You are 8.
The child enters the parent's life.
Yeah.
The parent does not enter the child's life.
That's a bar.
It's that simple.
But that's what we talked about. It's like a lot of parents give up their word. They're like, oh, my kid is my world. It's my everything. And it's like, yo, yes, but I understand that where that sentiment comes from. But please understand that, yo, like our kids, they are a part of our lives, and they are in until they're older. Like, yes, we're gonna do things they want to do. We're not saying like, yo, you can't do nothing. Like, you have no space to talk here. No, like our place is open. Talk about stuff, but the decisions are not based on just you as a kid. We don't just dictate what we want to do based on just Michaela or just Bella. If we want to go to our friend's house and our kids know to respect and honor us while we're there, and they can do that, we're gonna go. Or we want to go to this thing, we'll figure out, we'll go. You know what I mean? Like, if we want to go, we're not gonna sit there and be like, well, we can't go because, well, this person just doesn't want to go. Like, this is like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I think that's a small piece of it, but like, yeah, like when I was growing up, if I didn't use ma'am or sir, I got backhanded to the mouth. Jeez. Yeah. I didn't get backhanded to the mouth, but I definitely caught like, excuse me, like, use your manners, like, know who you're talking to, show respect, right? As a stepfather, when I had to spank, we would have a nice long discussion on why they got the spanking. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yep.
Necessary.
Share the why behind the what, man.
Yep.
It's not like we spank for everything 24/7. Yeah, no, definitely not. So spankings are a fair method only if you do the talking.
I think
so.
Yes.
I think spankings are
Yes.
okay as long as they're followed up with
Communication.
some communication with
of
it.
why you got it.
And real honest conversation, talked from a just, and don't, like we talk about, I mean, the Juan, like, don't sugarcoat it, man. Like, talk on their level, man, and just be like, with my 8-year-old, I'm able to have way better conversations with her, and she's growing up fast, man. And I'm like, soon she's gonna be a teenager, and these conversations have to start. They have to start now, man. And I've been trying to, like, I've been having little bits of these conversations since she was like 2 or 3.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've definitely been enforcing this stuff, man. So to be a better parent, I want to strengthen my relationship with my wife to make sure I can be. Yeah, man, that's good, Juan. That's it, man. It starts here. You know what I mean? If this isn't strong, if this isn't right, anything that comes out of my mouth to my kid, I feel like it's gonna fall on deaf ears.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're gonna eventually grow up to be like, why should I listen to what they're telling me? Because obviously everything that's happening with them is not working.
Right. Yeah.
Why take my parents' advice?
Yeah.
It's not helping them, obviously.
Gotta walk the talk.
Yeah, man. Like, you're like a tutorial to a game. Billy, that's hilarious. I'm a tutorial. It depends on how good the tutorial to see how good the rest of the game will go for that person. Yeah, there you go.
That's funny.
You're a parent first and a friend later.
That's right.
Bars. That's a bar, Juan. That's a bar. There's a difference in your child wanting to go to the park and your child demanding you go to the park. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
How do you two hold the marriage? Because even though I'm young, I can't hold a good relationship with a woman or with a girl. Because you're 13, you're almost 14, so it's not really a woman yet.
Yeah.
But she's a developing woman. How do we hold our relationship, man? Talk, man. Communication. Everybody, it's so cliche, but it's the truth, man. You gotta talk, bro, and you gotta understand each other, man. Like, and just, bro, enjoy being single. Don't rush it, Moisty, or not Moisty, Billy. Like, I think letting it kind of, you know, just be you, man, and figure out who you are, man. You're young right now. You got to figure out who you are, man.
Yeah. And
spend time in your singleness, because your singleness is much as a blessing as being in a dating relationship. I think we want to be in relationships so bad because we see the world in relationships and desiring them so much, so we feel like that's what we should do.
Right.
And that in turn ends up hurting us because we get confused later on, and then we've been in so many other things that have hurt us that we don't even know how to do a relationship now because we don't even know who we are. We didn't take any times to figure out like all this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Take your time, bro. Summer is so pretty, Squid said.
Thank you.
Oh, that one guy is next to her. Wow, Squid. Don't get me wrong, my daughter is a great kid. She's kind, loving, and is an all-around great kid. However, at home, it's a different story. I believe how she acts when no one is looking is a solid determination of good character. It's a foundation to the type of person she'll be in the future. I don't want to worry about her not being able to take care of herself when we're not around. I feel you, man. That's a decent thing to be concerned about. You know what I'm saying? Like, you should be.
Sure.
I think, man, with more conversations like this, man, and Juan, like, and anybody else who's listening, if you are doing life by yourself, if you are in marriage and it's just you and your spouse and your kids, can I just present to you the idea that your life and our lives were not meant to just do this alone? Like, you are not meant to wander as a married couple to figure this out by yourself. Because truth be told, man, that's why there's no way that's even logically possible. If there's billions of people around the world, you're telling me we're just meant to just live in our little box by ourselves the rest of the time? No. Like, there are people all around us, and there are people that we can connect to and we need to be around. And dudes, we need other dudes. Women need other women that are going to be positive, honest, truthful women to hold them accountable and to be better moms, to push them to be better women, and push to just continue to grow and be better people. Fellas, we need the same thing. Stop saying like, yo, I don't need nobody, I got this by myself mentality, bro. Like, that's not good. It's not healthy. We need people. We need this. We need more moments like this where we can have conversations, man. And that's the only way we're going to get better, so we can do the very thing, Juan, that you're setting out to try and do. So we can be more successful. Maybe not 100% successful, but we can have more success rate in preparing our kids for the future because we're preparing ourselves for those times when they come up. Dizzle, I'm 33. I'm only just now learning to accept myself as a single guy and enjoy my life as is. It's not an easy thing for everyone. However, once you can, you'll find someone without even looking that enhances your life. Yeah, man, that's it. That's exactly it. Dizzle, you got it, bro. To close this all up, this is a great conversation. I think it was cool. Yeah, and it ended up kind of being more parenting because this is more, Juan had the topic of compromise, but realistically, man, like, compromise for me, there are non-negotiables, and in those non-negotiables, there are borders around it that are like kind of like we can talk about those, but there's certain things within that, and they're not just like, I think, like, oh, my kids and my wife and my faith. Like, for me, it's a lot more, it's deeper than that for me. Like, for me, it's a much more labeled out thing. Like, yes, my wife, but it's these things within the relationship with my wife. Like intimacy is and we'll talk about that on one of these streams, I'm sure. Because I think as dudes, we should definitely talk about that. But intimacy in relationships is a non-negotiable. There should always be a level of intimacy between husband and wife. You can't tell me nothing about that. Like, unless God himself gives me a revelation of something different, everything I've ever seen or read through scripture and the things I've ever experienced, like, yo, it's a sacred thing, and it's a thing that I believe helps hold the glue to a relationship and a marriage, is very much so found in, because one of the biggest reasons for divorce is lack of intimacy, right? So intimacy is important, and so that's a non-negotiable. Like, there has to be, but yet there is compromise. Like, you know, I may want 5 times a week. She might be like, look, like, I can't do 5, I'll do 2. I'm like, all right, what about 3? And we're like, nah, how about 2.5? What's 2.5? I don't even know what 2.5. You know what I'm saying? Like, but those are things for me that's non-negotiable. Like that piece, and then there's just other pieces that are within that, like respect for my kids, non-negotiable. How we get there, we do it from we implement spanking, we implement conversation, we do these things, and out of this we will find respect. We will find this. And I have those things like that are just, you know what I mean? Like there's just little pieces for me that are just those non-negotiables, and I put them on the table, and then she talks about hers, and we put hers on the table, and then we go through each one, and we try to just, all right, how does this work for both of us? You know what I'm saying? And we just try to work it out, and it looks different for everybody's gonna look different on here. Like your marriage, your relationships, you know. Anomaly, you're about to get married, bro. Shout out to Anomaly. He's engaged. Awesome. Tiffany, I met you. If you're watching, shout out to Tiffany. You seem like a great girl, man. And you guys, I'm really excited for y'all. And it's a big step, man. It is a big commitment. There's a lot to be said about marriage and relationships. But, man, like...
They'll be starting around the same time we did. Because he's 23.
Uh-huh. Yep, I got married at 23.
Yeah, I was 22. No, 21 going on 22.
Yep, 21 going on 22. So we were young. You know what I mean? And, bro, just know, like, you have other people that are married in your corner. Us, Juan, Brizzo. There's other people, man, that are, you know, in your corner that are here to kind of have a conversation with you, and you can lean on for advice, which is dope. You know what I mean? And that's what we need, man. Like, you can't do this by yourself.
Yep.
At least it's not like Pawn Stars. Best I can do is once bi-weekly. Yeah. No, that's what a compromise is, still kind of a negotiation. Like,
I mean, you have to negotiate to come to a compromise.
You have to negotiate to come to a compromise. So, you know, all right. So we are about to do the $100 giveaway.
Oh, I get to be a part of this?
You get to be a part of this. So if you were subbed to the channel or gifted a sub last month, you have a chance to win $100. Yeah, man. This is your time to get it right. You have to be in chat.
The price is right. Come on down.
So, Summer needs to roll the winner. Yeah, she could roll it. I'll let Summer roll it. Thanks, bro. This helped my mental illness to talk. Man, that's so good. Come on, Billy. That's so dope, man. I'm glad I could help, man. That's what this is about, bro. Love you, man. If nobody ever told you today, Billy, Power Up loves you. Power Up family loves you, bro. And you're appreciated here. And I appreciate your time, man. 13 years old. You know what I mean? Stay positive, man. And keep positive dudes in your life, man. That's what you need. Don't hang out with losers, man, that are liars and freaking acting a fool, doing stupid stuff, man. No time for that. Junkus just leads you down the path of bullcrap. So, I'm about to pull it up. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. There is a ton of names that are on this wheel. A lot, all right? Or copied and pasted all of the names, and I had to type out all the gifted ones. So if you gifted any subs, so here's how this works. If you were gifted a sub, your name is in this hat, in this wheel, on this wheel. If you gifted a sub, your name is in here extra times for every time you gifted. So if you gifted subs, which I can tell you right now, because I literally went on my phone and typed this out. We have Riveting Rivera at 8 subs, 8 gifted subs, on top of him being sub for himself. So he's got 9 entries, possible chances to win. Scan, you have 11 extra chances to win. Anomaly has 21, bro. 21 gifted subs this past month from Anomaly. Shout out to Anomaly with 21. All right. Actually, Dom _ had 10 gifted subs. Mini PR had 6. Rock and Review had 10 gifted subs. Glandizzle had 3. Bergie the Burger had 4. Juan, you had 10. Squid had 5. Drew has 11. Ha of Will has 5. So we're about to roll for this. So Summer, you're gonna have to do the honors. Hold on. You're gonna click the little arrow. All right, in a second. Here we go. In 3, 2, 1, let's go.
Do I have to stop it?
No, it'll stop on its own. Oh, actually, Dom, you got the win for the $100. Dom, if you're in the chat, you have 30 seconds. Hopefully you're in here. If not, you will be removed from the list. So, Dom, 30 seconds on the counter. Yeah, congratulations, man. If so, he don't respond, what happens? If he does not respond, Then we will roll again, and we will get another winner. Dom would have won $100, bro. See, this is why y'all got... If you follow the channel and you know bro, you got to come in. You got to come in. He has been removed from here. So, we're going to try again. 3, 2, 1. Let go.
So satisfying.
Epidemic fail. Oh, snap. I know who that is, too. Epidemic, where you at? Epidemic, are you in here? I haven't seen him in here in a while, though. He got gifted a sub, I think, so he may not be in here. 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. Remove and click.
I could do this all day.
Holy samurai Batman.
Holy samurai Batman.
20 second, or, wow, 30 seconds. Sorry, let me go back. 30 seconds. Somebody gifted this man a sub, so there's probably a good chance he's not in here. Hey, man, there's 13 people in here, so, yeah, I don't think he's in here, though. See, this is what happens. Like, there's people who come in, they follow, and then they just show up for a little bit. This is why you gotta start showing up, man. You just never know. That means one of you guys are gonna get it. You guys should feel grateful because one of you guys, I think most everybody in here is subbed. There we go. All right, remove them. We might be at this for a minute. Maybe.
For real, though.
Here we go. Nah, that's why the people who are gifting subs have better chances to win because it's gonna have more possibilities of landing on your name. Uh-oh. My brother!
Oh, and he ain't in here. He's still in here. You
See?
know he ain't.
30 seconds.
Jessito.
Jessito.
Come on, Jessito.
My brother would be mad. This is why I tell my brother, come in on streams. Come in on streams.
He'll be listening.
Nope. He could have won $100.
The consequences. See what we talk about?
Yep, look at this.
Mm.
Yeah, that is actually my brother.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, look, get wrecked, Jesse.
Yes.
And sorry.
Removing Jessito.
Removing. Yeah, man, we're doing the giveaway, but you got to be subbed to win. And Golden, I don't think you're subbed, bro. So this one won't be for you. We'll do other giveaways for followers and stuff, but Juju, he was in here the other day. Juju bug. Juju about to get that Juju on Abby. Juju on Abby.
Oh my god. Jesse,
30 seconds. Juju. People gotta start showing up, man.
This is fun.
I'm glad you're getting a kick out of this.
That's great. I love it. Remove Juju.
Wait for it. Wait for it. Give him plenty of time. And it's over. Remove, and in 3, 2, 1, click. Tar Heels, that's Zach. Zach from Gears, Zach.
Oh really?
Yeah. He was in here like a week ago. Showed up, said, hey man, I know I don't come in all the time, try to come in more. Where you at?
Bro, when $100 on the line, I tell people I
right.
do every stream.
I'm like, I be giving away good stuff. Like, I don't understand why people like play around with this stuff. I'm like, yo, look, you have a chance to win. You got gifted a sub, bro. You didn't even have to put money up for yourself. That's a free $100.
Does that mean my name's in here?
Yes.
Oh.
Summer could win, and that means nobody gets in.
Watch out. No, I wouldn't do that.
We'd re-roll. We'd re-roll. Here we go. What we gonna get?
Are we gonna be?
Oh, Scan!
Scan!
Look at that. Scan just won $100. Scan. Somebody tag Scan. Let's go. Scan. Let's go. One of the world's greatest mods of all time coming through. Let's go. Can we get some love in the chat, baby? Hey. Let's go, Scan. Congratulations, brother. Send me your PayPal info so I can send you that money. Or your Venmo or your Cash App. Apple Pay, one of the two, send you $100. Let me know, whichever one works. But congratulations to Scan. Let's go, baby. Look, this is just a small portion of what I feel like I'm able to do, man. You guys bless me each and every month, man. Me and my wife are grateful to have you guys support, and this community is growing. I really appreciate it, man. So this is just a small little bit of a percentage of what y'all have given me. I just want to be able to pour back into one of you guys, man. So thank you, Scan, for your support, your gifted subs, and for everybody else who gifted subs just to do it to support us. Thank you. I really appreciate it, man. For real, for real. Thank you, guys. Yes, sir. Thank you, Billy. This music just makes me happy. Like, I can't hear it and not be happy. This is how baby number 4 is gonna get made.
No, it's not.
Dancing on me like that, girl. Hey.
Don't take much, does it?
Good times, guys. Good times. Thank y'all, man. Let's go.
I'm Audi 3000.
He said, I'll send you my Venmo in a PM. Sweet. But yo, thank you guys, man, so much, dude. For real. I appreciate you guys. Congratulations once again, Scan. And this concludes the Power Hour, babe. Thank you so much.
Yep, no problem.
You're the best. Thank you, thank you. It's my lovely, beautiful, significant other. Show him the baby bump. Show him the bump. So you guys can see, look. The baby. There's the baby. Mwah. There's a baby in there. Little Willow.
Yep.
Love you.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you, babe. You the MVP. You the best.